Welcome to Aboriginal Art in America, a podcast where each week we spend a few minutes with a work by an Indigenous Australian artist. We're about halfway through a series on a new exhibit at the Kluge-Ruhe Aboriginal Art Collection. It's called Boomalli Prints and Paper, Making Space as an Art Collective. And it's about the founders of one of the first Aboriginal artist collectives to form and make art in an urban context. The exhibit is dedicated to an artist named Arone Meaks. In this episode, we're going to hear about his life and a few of his pieces on display at the Kluge-Ruhe.
Well, the exhibition has three large, beautifully colored prints by Arone Meaks.
That's Douglas Fordham, professor of art at the University of Virginia and one of the curators of this exhibit.
And Arone is one of the founders of Boomalli and a very important art educator in Australia. He was our first artist that we interviewed early in the spring semester. And tragically, he passed away as we were preparing the exhibition. And we've dedicated the exhibition and the catalog to him. And the exhibition has three large, beautifully colored prints that are on display. They're just these really vibrantly colored prints. One of them's called Boomalli. It's a reflection 20 years later on the group that he helped to found. One of them include kind of abstracted, playful, figural representations of the discovery of Australia by Captain Cook. They include lots of kind of inside references to people that he knows and respects, to dilly bags, which are the bags that women traditionally carry. The colors of the Aboriginal flag come through very clearly in one, for example. And all kinds of kind of coded references, but when one sees it, even without that reference, you get this sense of positive energy and playfulness, which was really clear to us from our interview with Arone, that he's committed in every sense of sharing the stories of his own people from Queensland, Australia. But also, as he said, he wanted this work of art to communicate to everybody, and he wanted everyone to be able to enjoy it, no matter kind of where they're coming into those works of art from.
It was just such a tragedy that in the middle of all of this, Arone Meaks died.
That's curator of Kluge-Ruhe, Henry Scarrett.
Because when we announced that we wanted to do this project, Arone was the very first person to jump in and say, yes, I want to be involved in this. This is important. This is great. He was the first artist to put his hand up to speak with the class and share his insights. And in fact, here's a funny story. We were starting to develop the checklist and think about what kinds of works we want. And unannounced, a tube of prints arrives at Kluge-Ruhe. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And Nicole rings me up and says, Henry, you didn't say that there were going to be any prints arriving. And I'm like, what prints? It turns out Arone had just off his own enthusiasm rolled up 5 prints to donate with a little note saying, these are for the Kluge-Ruhe collection, love Arone. And, in hindsight, it's clear that Arone was recognizing his own mortality, but he didn't let that show. He came in so bright, so bubbly, so enthusiastic, and a real testament to who he was as a person and who he was as an artist. So it's really great that this exhibition can be dedicated to him and that we can do something to honour his legacy. And it's also amazingly generous of him that he donated 5 works to the collection, which will now live here in perpetuity.
You can see those works by Arone Meaks and many others by making a free reservation to visit the exhibit at kluge-ruhe.org. And come back next week to get to know the work of 2 other Boomalli founders, artists and fashion designers Bronwyn Bancroft and Euphemia Bostock.